Greetings, everyone. I'm Alan West with Next Generation TV. I'm standing here with one of my favorite guys, former colleague, Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania, who is a member of the Ways and Means Committee, but also a member of the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. And if you understand the Ways and Means Committee, that's all about our tax code. So when we're talking about this IRS issue, this is exactly where Representative Kelly is going to be weighing in. Thanks so much for having me.
Coach. Colonel, good to see you.
I know.
He always called me Coach.
He's Coach, I'm Colonel.
So we have a great relationship.
Absolutely.
Thanks for what you're doing. It is critical to the United States.
We will keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about what you're going to be doing.
Sure.
And, of course, this issue that you've already spoken out about, the IRS targeting specific conservative groups and some other groups that we're finding, Tea Party, Patriot, 912, anyone that's talking about redressing their grievances to government. So what's been some of the initial thoughts you have on this?
Well, I really think this opens a Pandora's box that we start to look at and say, who are these folks? Mm-hmm. Who are these people that are doing these things? And you look at the IRS, first of all, it's very chilling to think that our government would overstep its powers like this. This is such an abuse of power. And again, we're looking into things that we don't have the right to do. And certainly the United States people, the Americans, need to look at this and say, wait, this is not what we bought. This isn't what we know to be right and to be true. And so I think our job now in oversight, and it's we were colleagues here.
Sure.
It's defending the American people. It's our job. It's our responsibility to find out for them what's going on. So we're looking at the oversight part of it and trying to figure out what exactly happened, who made that call, who took that call, who proceeded with that. You know, these folks are career bureaucrats. They know right and wrong.
Sure.
And so somebody gave them an order to do something. They knew it was wrong, and they did it anyways.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord we have somebody who comes forward and says there's something wrong here, and then we do an investigation. I'm a little bit disappointed it took so long. It's kind of funny that it came out a couple months after the election.
And this is something that did not just happen here recently. We're going back to 2011, and you know they said there was no there to borrow something from the president, but. You know, a lot of people saying these are just lower level individuals out of the Cincinnati office. Yes. We know that Lisa Lerner has come forward and said that she apologized for it. But then again, we hear this codifying word, if there was something there. Well, the IRS has already apologized for their actions, which they said were inappropriate. So what do you think will take to get the attention of, you know, the White House on this issue?
Public pressure. It always comes from public pressure. Yeah. I mean, we pushed, whenever you and I were here together on the floor, we fought every day to get to the bottom of this, to find out what the answers were to questions that were very difficult for the administration to answer. Now, they glossed over, they got by the election. Now, it's time for the American people to come forward to say, look, you know, they're just doing their job. I'm so tired of hearing about Congress not doing their job. This is a president, he knew about this. Yeah. And again, he chose to back burner it for a while. His administration, this executive administration, this is a blind ambition with this group. It doesn't matter what it takes to get there. Rule of law, be damned. There's a certain thing about it that you say to yourself, why? Why are they doing it? And who was to somehow get something out of this?
But it was so funny because the president said when he had that joint press conference with David Cameron, he just heard about it in the news on Friday. You know, we have to start asking the question, who is really in charge here in Washington, D.C.? No one knows anything about what happened with Benghazi, these AP reporters that have gotten their phone records taken. Now that everyone's coming back this week, what's the way ahead in the Ways and Means Committee and specifically your subcommittee on oversight?
Do you know what? We're going to take a good look. And you know, Charles, Dr. Bustani is the head of that oversight subcommittee. Chairman Camp is probably one of the most solid individuals I've ever been around in my life. It has nothing to do with government. I'm talking about a solid American. We need to know, and the American people have the right to know. We've got to find out. We've got to ask these questions, and we've got to get to the bottom of it. Now, it'll just be the acting chairman and the inspector general coming forward, but we've got to get deeper than that.
Sure.
And this, you know, you and I agree on this. This isn't somebody out in Cincinnati that pushed the wrong button. No. They knew exactly what they were doing. I think it goes much higher. We've got to find out what level it was at. And again, who gave that order? And who followed that order, and what now, all of a sudden, this much time has passed to come forward with it now? What took so long to find that out? Sure. And I think we're finding out with this administration, you never get the answer. You get a spin. Yeah. These are the masters of deceit and distortion, and they try to get your eye off the ball. And they say, well, when did this happen? When you weren't looking? Well, I got to tell you, we're all looking, and we're looking all the time. And we can do more than walk and chew gum at the same time. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Well, speaking about walking and chew gum, let's talk to us a little bit about some of your legislative priorities and some of the things you're doing for the folks back in Pennsylvania.
Well, you know, I think the big thing this term is the tax reform. And going back to what the chairman said at the beginning of this, not reform for the sake of reform, but reform for the sake of lifting the economy, getting it back on track, letting it become a dynamic and robust economy that starts to be able to provide the funds that we need to do all these wonderful things we do. So you have to take a good look at it. It's a turnaround plan, right? We're spending an awful lot of money. We've got to find out why we're spending money. So a lot of it's duplicative, and we've got to reduce that down. The other thing is we've got to be able to grow revenues without beating people over the head with tax rates and with regulations. So we've got to find a way to let them grow. It's got to be organic. They can grow. They can prosper. The country will lift by itself, but we've got to give them, again, that confidence and that trust they have that we're going to do the job for them in Washington, D.C. And I think, again, when we talked earlier about a lot of the things that this administration has done, they've broken a very sacred trust between the American people and our way of life and our form of government. They're saying, you know what, I don't know that I can trust these folks anymore. I don't know that I have the faith that they're going to do what's best for me. And when you have that breakdown, it's like you and I. We have a trust and a faith in each other. If you call me, I know that you're going to be, that you want me for a reason, and I can be there. And if you call me and say, hey, listen, I need your help, you know I'm going to be there for you.
Well, that's absolutely
and we need to be that way.
It was back how when you played football in Notre Dame, you know, when you had the offensive line that was up there, you know, that running back believed they're going to open up the hole.
That's right.
And they trusted them to do it once that play came in. Now, it's so interesting that people don't understand that relationship between tax rates and tax revenue, because we've seen in the history of this country, you know, higher tax rates do not always yield the higher revenues.
No, they don't. No, it's not the rate. It's the more profit a company makes, the more taxes they pay. You can keep the rates low. That encourages reinvestment. That encourages people to come up with a plan, not for the next 6 months, but for the next 5 years and 10 years, which is what we've been keeping from them. And, you know, with the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, with Obamacare, when I'm back home in the district, and you and I used to share these stories when you traveled back home, people are just leery of it, and they're not sure. I mean, my goodness, 2,700-page bill with 17,000 pages of regulations, and they're still writing. Nobody understands it yet, not in the depth that they need to, so people hold back. Now, so yeah, you can mess around with rates and feel good about it, but you can raise it to 100%, and I can take them back home to Erie, Pennsylvania, show them a lot of businesses are they're done. 100%, take 100% of what they are, zero. I mean, you know, so you got to have a healthy growth.
And that's the amazing thing, because everyone will point back to, you know, the Dow Jones is doing so well at 15,000, but like you said, those small business owners are the ones that are really suffering, and we don't see that growth and expansion. So final thoughts as we get ready, you know, you coming back in, you're going to probably have these hearings. What can we expect out of the committee when we start looking at this IRS investigation?
I think that you can expect a really honest look into what happened, and we've got to be bulldogs in this. We've got to reestablish that trust between our form of government and our people, let them know that we're there for them. They can have faith in us, and we're going to hold these people accountable for what they did. You just can't let it go and give them a slap on the wrist. Too often we say, well, that was the wrong thing, but you know, they're going to straighten out. Listen, there's a penalty to be paid when you do the wrong thing. There's a reward when you do it right. There's also a penalty when you do it wrong. These people have overstepped their power. It's an abuse of power, and we need to rein it in. We need to find out again who, why, and what were they looking for. And I think what you and I are both concerned with, it may not just be the folks we're talking about now, and as time goes on, we may see more people come forward and say, you know, they're also targeting this group or that group. But the idea that it was conservatives, that's very chilling. There's other groups out there doing the same thing. These 501c4s are out there doing the same thing. The question was, so you only looked at the conservative groups? You didn't look at the other groups? I mean, did you look into the Sierra Club? No. I was more interested in those Tea Party patriots. To say, oh, I get it. I get it. So you picked who you wanted to go after, and that's a very chilling.
Absolutely, because that First Amendment right says that the citizen has the right to petition his government to redress their grievances, and they should not have to worry about any type of coercive action or punishment from their government. Mike, it's always a pleasure, Coach.
Yeah, we can rely on you to speak about it all the time, so I appreciate that.
You got it.
Thanks, Colonel.
And thanks so much for watching us here on Next Generation TV. This is Alan West with Representative Mike Kelly from Pennsylvania. Have a great day.